This guy.
Oh,
way to put that on as it's
Whoa.
starting and surprise everybody, dude. That's awesome.
Great
This guy.
start. Great start to the night.
I wish you could put that one right here too.
Are you okay?
Welcome to Beyond the Streams. No, wait. Extra point. Wrong podcast.
Are you okay, buddy? Do you need to talk?
He's so messed up right now. He's got that on.
Is this going to become a therapy stream and not a football podcast?
I might need some help.
I've disconnected since early in the season, so this week didn't even watch the game. Not gonna lie, I didn't even watch it. I don't care.
You didn't miss much.
The only thing that I'll say is that watching this game, as sad as this sounds, I actually have the tiniest bit of hope. Not necessarily like playoff hope or anything, but I have a tiniest bit of hope that we might start doing good. Because Cooper Rush, man, he came in there that last quarter and kind of kicked some ass, dude. Like, he made some good throws.
You want to borrow this?
That's what I said a second ago, dude. When you put it on, I said one right here. Put that right here. I'm telling you, dude. I'm not saying he's going to come out there and be a Tom Brady and lead us to a Super Bowl on the back of a backup quarterback like Cooper Rush. But, I mean, dude, stats in the game, Dak Prescott in almost three full quarters.
Yeah, we keep him
for
for
24, 133 yards, 1 touchdown. Cooper Rush, 13 of 25, 115 yards and a touchdown. 20 less yards in 1 quarter he played.
And not the same deal as Dak.
Exactly. And he's the backup.
Yeah.
Now let's be fair. I mean, that was he got some garbage time prevent defense.
Still.
You know, hey, and say what you want about Cooper Rush.
You watched the game though. He looked good.
Cooper Rush came in a few years ago and went 4-0
and made it look like a close game.
Yeah.
Cooper Rush a few years ago, he went 4-0 before losing his first game. Now they were cush teams that he beat. Once he came up against Philadelphia, he lost.
Dex lost to, sure.
But yeah. I mean, he could definitely flip the script a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, really, we're not really expecting anything out of the Cowboys, like. And CeeDee Lamb may be questionable for this week too. We'll get to that in the injury report, of course. But
injured. The whole team's injured right now.
Yeah, I mean, all of their top players on both sides of the ball at this point are. There was a tweet I saw. It listed all of these players, and it didn't say injured, not injured, whatever. It just said they all require an MRI on Monday. It's like,
yeah, there was the picture that you posted. Was it you actually that posted that? Somebody posted it. All the injured Cowboys on both sides of the ball right now. Actually, it was Janu that posted it. It says players out of the lineup for the Cowboys right now due to injuries. Dak Prescott. I'm gonna count this on as many hands as I need. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Marshawn Nealand. It's hard for me to read these things from this far away. Sam Williams and Deron Bland. And didn't we? I think that is a little bit out of date. Didn't we also lose the backup linebacker to Micah Parsons? Didn't he get injured towards the end of that game?
Hell,
what's his name, dude? He's been kind of kicking ass lately, dude. He's been like our one bright spot on defense.
The Cowboys are cooked. Cowboys are cooked this year.
Yeah.
Ryan, do you take back your take from last week?
No.
You're still holding in there?
I am.
And I'm sorry that I'm maintaining my was I on week 2?
Until they're officially out of the playoff race.
When I asked if the Cowboys were ass. And they're kind of ass.
That was like 3 weeks ago that you said that, and I took
I think it was before that. It was way back.
It might have been, but I mean, I said The very first episode is the only time you're going to hear me truly say that I believe the Cowboys are not going to make it to the Super Bowl or playoffs. That's the only time. Once the season starts, dude, I dip my full freaking head halfway into the bucket. Can't help it. I'll pick the Cowboys to win every single game. But they aren't out of the playoff race yet. It's not that crazy to think that the Cowboys under Cooper Rush's back come in here, went out for the games. I mean, we have to play Philly and Washington. They're both ahead of us. We beat them both. That's going to give them both a couple extra losses.
We're not.
Yeah, I was going to say you're not beating Washington.
No, definitely not Washington.
At this point, you might not be Philly.
Hey, Micah Parsons is going to come back.
You have an absolute Olympian freak of nature in Saquon Barkley doing backwards hurdles over people.
Micah Parsons is going to
come back. Insane.
There's no one on the Cowboys that's stopping that. There's no one on the Cowboys stopping that. No shot.
I've been saying it for a couple of years, and I hate that it's finally come true, but Saquon Barkley with a real team around him that allows a run is going to be insane. And the Giants never gave him that.
And to think he's
the Eagles have always been a rushing team.
To think at the start of the season, like Saquon going to the Eagles was the biggest story, when in reality it's Derrick Henry.
Oh, yeah. Derrick Henry as a whole. It's the same situation, though. The Baltimore Ravens were built around the rush. They're a rushing team. And then you throw in Derrick Henry. The Eagles have always been a rushing team, whether it's been the quarterback or any of their other running backs. They've always been a rushing team. And now you throw in Saquon Barkley. Like, yeah, that's good. And you got the Cowboys, who were a great rushing team last year, the West Coast offense. They looked great. So what do? You get rid of the running back and you tell Dak, stop running.
Your boy Tony Pollard,
right?
Yeah, I hated that we got rid of Pollard. Like, he honestly, besides CeeDee Lamb, was like my favorite player on the offense. And obviously, he didn't do the best last year, but we were just using him differently.
Because we ran West Coast. The running back is useless in the West Coast offense.
As you can see on the Titans, Pollard still a great running back. Who would have thought? Pollard's still a great player. We should have kept him. I don't want to get into all this rant again. It's going to be forever us talking about Cowboys, but we should have kept him and drafted Henry. There's that.
It's the worst part is that, like, we're all Cowboys fans, so we're not even ranting about how good the Cowboys are. Man, the Cowboys are coming back. We're sitting here shitting on them. Because we love our team so much that we hate seeing them do all this.
Like Ray
pointed out. You $5 million do all this. I personally,
the epitome of our season. $5 million is the epitome of our season. Imagine the difference our entire season could be if we'd freed up $5 million.
Listen, he's got to save money for Bill Belichick. That's gonna be $25 million. So that $5 million goes a long way,
And we also need to save time for all the other games that happened this week. So let's move on, and let's go back to Thursday, where at least Pick'em's wise. Most people thought that Houston was going to handle up on the Jets, and it ended up being a weird game. And the Jets
can I rant about that?
Yeah, because go ahead.
The local Houston expert,
dude. Okay, so obviously last year was a phenomenal season for the Texans, and they were very pass heavy. They did not have a running game, so it forced CJ Stroud to throw the ball all the time, too much sometimes. And the way that CJ plays the game, he's a great risk taker. He throws these deep passes and he takes risks, and it pays off for him. There was that game last year where the Bucs were winning, and it was like the last 20 seconds of the game, and they were just going back and forth the whole fourth quarter. Last 20 seconds of the game, and still wins that out. That same CJ Stroud is not there right now because the offense that they're running is completely different. And it's making me get extremely frustrated because I get it. We have a great running game now, but we're focusing too much on that. Like when you have games where they're, Tank Dell only gets like 3 or 4 receptions. He's like the only wide receiver on the whole offense doing anything. It's like, dude, it's just ridiculous. And even with Nico Collins in and Diggs in and Tank in, the offense still, it just feels like something isn't fully clicking. And to lose to a team like the Jets, oh man, that it hurts. Like the first off, the O-line is a huge problem. He's getting pressured way too quick, and he doesn't have any time at all. So they just keep running the ball because it's not working in the air. But that's what CJ strives at is in the air. He's not a rushing quarterback. It's what he does, passer. So it's just they're fumbling right now. Their record is still pretty decent. They're like 5-3 or 6-3 or something like that. But they have to be able to step it up to make it to the playoffs at this point. But
yeah, it's not bad.
I mean, luckily that division is kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're probably still going to make it to the playoffs. So once they do get there, like we saw, I don't know. It's the Jets defense. Like, give them props. They're great and all, but man, the O-line was getting shredded.
The next best team right now in their division is the Colts at 4-5. They have the Jags 2-7, the Titans 2-6, the Colts 4-5, and then Texans leading the division at 6-3.
Is this an indication of the Jets finally starting to put things together, though? Could there be any of that going on? I mean, we've been saying all year, like, how are they this bad?
If the Jets didn't win that game, by the way, can I just point out the other AFC is weak in these divisions right now. The AFC, Patriots 2-7, Dolphins 2-6, and the Jets 3-6. Bills leading the division at 7-2. How many? They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams in the AFC that have 3 or less wins.
Yeah,
I mean, there's 9 teams in the NFL right now with 2 wins.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's wild. They were talking about this on Sports Talk today. Why does the NFL suck this year? Why do these teams suck?
Yep, seriously. The Cowboys are at 3 wins right now. I mean, Giants too.
I mean, it's
ridiculous.
I don't know if the script is so focused on KC being undefeated, but
it's ridiculous, man.
Generally, mathematically, this late in the season, it's not. You don't have such a wide gap between the two.
And then you have the Packers over here, 6-3, 3rd in their division.
That division's a wagon.
That division right now is crazy, bro.
Packers 3rd place, Vikings 2nd place, Lions 1st. That's insane.
I mean, I think we might finally get the Lions in the Super Bowl this year.
They're my favorite team to get.
There's really no one else that can hang with them.
They're far better than everyone else, except for I think the Ravens. And obviously, it's like the Ravens lost to the Chiefs at the beginning. I don't care. I still think the Ravens are better than the Chiefs.
The Ravens lost to the refs.
Yeah, let's be honest. Exactly. And to be honest, too, last season the Ravens lost to the refs. The Ravens lost to the refs in the playoffs also last season. There was the whole no-call pass interference where the refs sat there for like 2 full minutes, remember, talking to each other, and then they threw the flag and they called pass interference on the Ravens and gave the Chiefs the first down. They're like, oh, well, I mean, I don't know exactly what the referee saw there, but like even the announcers were talking about it. Dude, the Chiefs. Yeah, we can go there. The Chiefs have been getting those calls for a while, man. It's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, it sounds like we're already there. So one of you guys at one point need to don the tinfoil hat.
I swear to God, dude. If it happens,
economy, no shot.
I think the people with the the people with the tinfoil hats are the ones that don't think it's rigged at this point.
Q just said it. Q just said these refs they're calling calls that don't exist and they're ignoring calls that do. And we say it all the time. We always get this disclaimer when we're shitting on the refs that you can find a penalty on any play, but that's not the point. When you have flagrant penalties that are being
over and over
and it's so heavily one-sided, it's not okay. I mean,
and it's not even just the penalties. Think about it. In the 4th quarter, the Buccaneers are coming back. They're down by the touchdown. They need to score a touchdown. They finally got some momentum. They're pushing the ball. Their wide receivers are getting into it. Sterling Shepard's getting his first catches of the game. They look beautiful. He was making great catches. And then the referees go, booth review. We need to review a catch.
Yeah.
What was it? 2-3 solid minutes?
2 minutes.
The referees looked at it. Dude, you could look first time you look at the play. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, he caught it. 2 feet down. Oh, and his shin's down also. Yep, that's a catch. 2-3 solid minutes later, even Troy Aikman was on the fucking announcer. Like, this is it's getting kind of strange. I don't understand what the referees are looking at right now. Why it's taking this long? Like, what the hell's going on?
6 of their games this season have been won by only a touchdown or less than a touchdown.
Yeah, it's all been by one possession.
It's all I've been saying that the whole season. Every time the Chiefs freaking win, it's always at the end. Oh my God, the Chiefs come back and win. It's a penalty. Oh
and
no!
How many times is there a flagrant false start that doesn't get called, or the Chiefs defense is getting walked over?
The last game was super obvious.
Let's spend 3 minutes looking at a replay to give him a break. Like, come on, guys.
So I'll be the devil's advocate here, and yes, I'm a Patriots fan. Great quarterbacks do that. Like if you look back at the aside from 2007 Brady, where he was blowing the league up, if you look at the Patriots run, they were trailing at the end of so many games, and Brady would march down the field and win the game. So Mahomes is great in that sense. He can do that.
Yeah.
But he's getting a lot of help from the refs. He's getting a lot more help from the refs than any other team, it seems. And
it's always at the end.
Seems the referees tend to favor one team more than others. And for a long time, it was the Patriots, and now I feel like it's the Chiefs.
Yeah, outside of the New England area, a lot of people felt this exact same way when it was the Patriots winning all those games with Tom Brady.
You would see a lot of times Tom Brady would throw his hands up, and the referees would look at him and just go, flag. Tom Brady threw his hands up. Something's got to be a flag.
He's upset. Flag on something.
Exactly. Like if a penalty on the defense, they upset Tom Brady.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny that. But Manning got the same amount of calls.
Oh yeah, Peyton did too.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's like these quarterbacks are going to get the calls.
Stood up and just went like that, and pointed at somebody, and the referee was like, "Okay, flag."
These quarterbacks are going to get the calls, but the difference with the Chiefs.
Unless you're
both sides of the ball are getting the calls here. Both sides of the ball. You know, it's not just Mahomes getting his elbow scraped. Oh, there's a roughing the passer. It's like you said, like you pointed it out perfectly. Absolutely 20/20 vision catch that anyone with 2 pairs of functioning eyes and even a minor knowledge of football will recognize that's a catch.
On the first,
you go do a booth review. Why? What are these refs looking at?
At a certain point, Troy even was trying to make an excuse. He was like, well, maybe they're trying to see if his shin was down, because if the shin was down before he went out, then the clock would stop. And maybe they're trying to figure out where the time should be before they start the play. He was like trying to make an excuse. And the referee just goes out there and he was like, it was a catch. Keep going.
Yeah, no fucking shit. We knew that. I don't know why
he doesn't even talk about the clock or anything. What the fuck?
But another thing, and I know this is another hot topic controversy. The Bucs didn't even get a chance to touch the ball in overtime.
Yeah,
and
I hate that rule.
We always talk about this, where a touchdown wins the game, but how many times does it go in favor of one team and the other team? And not for nothing, Baker set them up to win the game. Bowles should have gone for 2, because it's either, when you're facing the Chiefs, you're either gonna win on the 2-point conversion, or you're gonna miss it and you're gonna lose.
I felt like a Buccaneers fan right there, honestly. When they went up there and they scored that touchdown, I felt like a Buccaneers fan, because I was saying they're going to win the game. And then I heard them going, and the kicking team's coming out. Like, dude, like you said, they were hot at that. Dude, they moved down the field. He was connecting with people. They were on the move, dude.
And listen, I'm staying true to myself. The Bucs are something to worry about. They really are.
Oh yeah.
Who's the one team that's beat the Lions this year?
And and looking at it like this, dude, with the Buccaneers right now, even in that game, up until the 4th quarter, their wide receivers had a combined total of 1 catch between all of them through the entire game. Up before that, their only wide receiving or their only catches were Cade Auden and Rashid White had a couple catches. I think Bucky Irving had a couple. But going up into that, their 4th quarter, I think it was like Sterling Shepard or somebody had 1 catch. That was it. Like, dude, he had nobody helping him. And then the rushing game, dude, Bucky Irving, 7 carries, 24 yards. Sterling Shepard, 2 carries, 20 yards. Rashid White, 3 carries, 19 yards. Baker Mayfield was 4 yards short of leading the game in rushing. 4 carries for 20 yards. Like, dude, he almost had to rush the ball more than anybody else. He carried him in the fourth quarter. His wide receivers didn't show up until the end of the game. And still, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Yeah, and I mean, give credit to the Kansas City defense. They've been really good all season. They are what's winning the game for the Chiefs, aside from this last game.
Games, for sure.
And
where
that's true. Patrick Mahomes,
because Mahomes seems to have forgotten how to play football, unless he's tossing these little Jack Sparrow-esque friggin' shovel passes for touchdowns. Like, it's helping me fantasy wise because I'm a DeAndre Hopkins owner. But like, what the fuck? It's like the dude's just tossing. He's like he's rolling his ankle and then still tossing out touchdowns. It's crazy. The guy's a freak.
Those little shovel passes, man.
Yeah, I don't deny Mahomes is good, but
like
I was saying, good.
Yeah. And again, I'm still high on the Chiefs. I'm sorry, everyone's high on the Chiefs. I'm still high on the Bucs. I think they'll figure it out. Hopefully, they get Evans back at some point this season. That obviously they're not getting.
That's their biggest problem right now, dude. They played like that against the Chiefs, and you got to think about this, dude. Their wide receiver core was their 4th, 5th, and 6th string wide receiver starting that game.
I do genuinely.
And Jalen McMillan will be back at some point. Jalen McMillan is going to be good. He's going to be really good.
Yeah. But, dude, he was out that game. Like, you got to think about that. They did that against the Chiefs with their 4th, 5th, and 6th string wide receivers.
Yeah.
And enough teams have trouble.
I mean, their receiver core is better than the Patriots. So, Patriots don't have dog shit. You know what the Patriots have? They have Drake May putting the team on his back, going fucking crazy. I don't know if anyone saw that last play of the game in regulation. Like that's another one where they should have gone for 2, but congrats,
Drake Mays
with those Justin. He's got the field stats, bruh. He's got like 200 passing yards, a fumble, an interception, and 100 rushing yards.
Yep.
Yeah, Demario Douglas with the 7 receptions and like 10 yards.
Yeah, literally. And then he's getting guys in the numbers and they're fucking dropping the ball.
How was that possible?
You start taking those receivers over on receptions, just not yards.
Listen, Dabs. All right, I need to hear from you. The Titans didn't win that game. The Patriots lost the game. Let's be honest. Like they couldn't. The defense couldn't stop a nosebleed on the ground. The fucking wide receivers can't catch a bus. Like
but they can still be
Drake May, he can't throw passes to himself. He can't go out there and play offense. You know, he can't go out there and play defense. Like the point is, obviously the Patriots are ass. They're more than likely going to have the first round pick, which is great.
I will say, to be fair, to only 3 or 4 people thought that Tennessee was going to actually win that game.
Yeah,
Dab surprisingly was one of them, and Janu also. Actually, that was surprising. But
listen, buddy, you can ride high. You're not getting another win all season, so enjoy it while you have it. You know, congrats, you guys beat the Patriots. Guess what? We're gonna have first round pick. So.
I'm getting pissed. Okay, man, I need to get more picks correct on pick'ems, and I have to keep picking Dallas, and I feel like that's gonna keep being wrong and giving.
Yeah, I finally gave in this week. Why did I do that shit?
But I have to.
Listen, I'll be honest. I'm not picking the Patriots for the rest of the season.
I can't, dude. As a Dallas,
I'm not picking the Patriots at all for the rest of the season.
I feel like my arm would start burning
because no matter how much I look at the spreads, no matter how much I look at the matchups, how much how much delusion I maintain, I'm not stupid. I know they're going to end up losing, and it's kind of a good thing. In my eyes, they're going to end up with another high draft pick, and start to set something up because they have the foundation. Drake May is legit. He is blue chip. He is ready. He is ready to take it to the next level. He just needs some help, and obviously they're not doing anything for him this year. In my opinion, they should sit him. They should bench the guy and just ride out the rest of the season, because what's the point of it? It's good for him to get a chance to be out in the field and read defenses and get reps, but like, what's the fucking point? What's the point?
Yeah.
Risking him getting hurt.
I hope the Titans draft Shedeur Sanders because you know what? The Patriots are more than likely going to have the first pick, and they're going to have to trade. Tennessee's going to have to trade picks to get that number 1 pick so they can get Shedeur Sanders. So, because as of right now, he's probably going first overall. It should be Travis Hunter, but I don't know if they're going to take Travis. I don't know how many teams are going to want to use Travis Hunter as a 2-sided player, so that kind of affects his value a little bit. He's still going to go top 5.
Any team will, because NFL is just so much different than college. I mean, as far as injuries go, and obviously he's got the stamina to do it, and that's great. But as far as injuries go and everything like that, and just being at that competitive level, I don't think any team will let him do it. It would be extremely surprising. He'd be like one of the only people to do something like that active in the league right now.
If I had to guess, if I were a general manager or head coach, which would be awesome, and I had Travis Hunter, I would draft him as a wideout, use him as a wideout, and then put him down in lockdown situations like red zone plays, for example, where they need to stop.
Oh, yeah.
He's really good. I mean, I know Wakko doesn't really watch a lot of college football. I don't know how much you guys watch, but he is fucking crazy.
Yeah, for trick plays, dude, that's where it's at for sure. Or just like gadget plays or something. Yeah.
I don't watch much college football, but something I did recently see, it just brought up what we were talking about the other day with the the NIL, the new rule for the NCAA. Did y'all see that? Well, not new, but newer rule for it. Carson Beck, he apparently bought a $273,000 Lamborghini. Like, bro, good for you, Carson. That college quarterback able to afford himself a $300,000 car.
Yeah, things have changed, hadn't they?
Yep. Dude hasn't even played a snap in the NFL yet. He's already almost a millionaire.
Yeah. There were some obvious games this week. Obviously, Baltimore over Denver. That was pretty easy for most to call. I got some shit for that too. Apparently, Duder was lurking in the podcast last week, and he's a big Denver fan. He says that he had them going, winning against Baltimore or winning next week against who are they playing next week? I don't know. Either way, he's got them winning the next 2 games. Both of them, to me, are impossible. I was right on the first one. Let's see what happens next week.
They're playing Kansas City.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Denver versus Kansas City this week. Yeah, I don't see that happen.
That's right.
I'm sorry, Duder. I like you, dude. You're a bro. You're a dude, Duder. I'm gonna tell you right now, the Broncos ain't beating Kansas City just like they didn't beat Baltimore.
I just he accosted me, you know. He was very upset about my whatever it was that I said last week.
He's upset that you didn't take Denver over Baltimore. What? Like,
I gotta say,
throw your picks, bro.
Don't get me wrong, okay. Bo Nix, he still kind of is him. He had himself a bad.
You gotta believe in Bo Nix.
You do, man. Could you imagine, say, Bo Nix with the Cowboys? I feel like he could do a lot better with the Cowboys than he would do right now than with Denver. But he's not. I don't know. He's not great, but he's not bad, dude. He's not bad.
Oh, bro.
Who's
For first year is not bad. He's only throwing at Cortland Sutton.
And Javonte Williams. That's about it.
Which
Javonte Williams.
Those are second stringers in most teams.
There's
Javonte Williams is a chunk down at best, dude. Like, that's it.
There's that rookie wide receiver. I can't remember his name. I think it's Weil or something like that, and he's been decent.
Devon Weil.
Yeah, not really anybody.
Like, listen to this right here. So for Bo Nix, for that game, right? He had his running back, Javonte Williams, 2 catches for 42 yards. Troy Franklin, 1 catch, 19 yards. 2 catches, 2 catches, 3 catches, 1 catch, 1 catch.
Josh Reynolds.
And then at the very top, Cortland Sutton, 7 catches, 122 yards.
That's a lot for. I mean, that's a lot.
He had more than 3 times the catches of every single person on the team except McLaughlin. That's it.
The week before that, he didn't do shit, bro. He didn't do nothing.
Bo Nix had himself a favorite target that game.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, 23 carries, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns. Fuck's sake.
So, Janu, I want to ask you, what the fuck were you cooking with picking Miami?
That's where I was going next. There we go.
Seriously.
What? I'm trying to remember what game it was again. I have to check and see.
Miami versus Buffalo.
All the weeks.
Yeah, Miami versus Buffalo.
Who, even when Tua had a somewhat intact brain, still has not beat Buffalo.
I love those. The jokes, they flow so naturally all the time.
Again.
Yeah, so honestly, it's just one of those throw-up ones where I'm just like, F it, dude. I feel like it can happen. There's no reason behind it. Obviously, Buffalo's the better game, but
it was close.
Token.
Yeah, you did make it close.
They are, with Tua active, obviously they lost, but with Tua active, they are a very high-scoring offense, and you never know what's going to happen against Miami. They could win by a lot. They could win by a lot.
Yeah. What was it? 5 seconds left, 10 seconds left in the game, and Tyler Bass kicked that like 61-yard field goal to win it for him. If he had missed that over 60 yards, if he had missed that, it would at least went to overtime.
And I would have been a genius.
Well, I mean, it would have went to overtime, and then who knows what would have happened. But it would have been a lot different of a game if Tyler Bass hadn't missed.
I don't know. It's just to me, and again, nothing but love, buddy. But you're a sports bettor. You should know not to like.
Hey, I ain't got no money on this shit.
You know not to bet out of the run.
Yeah, no money on this, bro. I'd take all the risks.
It was like me betting on Kansas City losing last week against
listen, like I'm Las Vegas. Again, I'm not gonna fade Kansas City until they actually lose.
I might take Denver to beat Kansas City this week. I might hot take that. I've been saying Kansas City they're doomed to lose. Okay, I hate to say it, knock on wood, Kansas City is not going to go unbeaten this season. And the most likely team to win in a lot of those situations where a team have gone 8-0, 9-0, 10-0 are those kind of shitty teams that no one expects to win. They go out there and they surprise a lot of people. I don't know. I mean, I could see Bo leaving in Denver coming out there and surprising a lot of people and taking Kansas City down.
Can I just say, like, I mean, you got to take those. You got to take those like every once in a while, the token upset or whatever. But why those games? You know.
Listen, I agree. Like,
gotta lose.
I agree. I agree to an extent. Like sometimes these teams go. Like for example, the Ravens did it against the Browns. They went in and slept on them, right? Kansas City.
Yeah, but there was reasons to take Cleveland beating the Ravens because.
Well, but this is my point. There's reasons to take. There's reasons to somewhat agree with Brian here, which I hate to do.
Not where there's proof.
I'm taking Denver over Kansas City because it's a divisional game, which first of all is always a crapshoot, and second of all, they could go in there and sleep on them. It happened last season. Am I correct with that? Where
I believe so.
I'm pretty sure Denver beat them one game.
Kansas City got upset by somebody that was like a WTF.
They got beat by the Raiders
but
last year.
And that was the Raiders. One. I think that was
either way. It is one of those games where
they beat them. Broncos beat Kansas City last year too.
Yeah.
So their last 3 games, Broncos won in 2023 24-9. The game after that, it was 19-8. The Chiefs won, and then the game after that, the Chiefs beat the Broncos 27-24. Another close game.
The thing that gives me confidence is the defense, bro.
It could be that Denver is Kansas City's kryptonite, just like Cleveland is to Baltimore. You know, like they just play closer games than anybody gives it credit for. That's kind of how I struggled with the Miami pick over Buffalo the way Janu did. I didn't go as far as he did to actually pick them, but I did definitely see Miami putting up a fight against Buffalo. So, like, you know, sometimes it's just the way those certain matchups always seem to happen.
And Bo Nix, man, he's young enough and talented enough that, you know, He said, like Ray said, man, you could go in there. Casey's defense could go, it's just Denver. It's blah, blah, blah. Not really take it too seriously. Bo Nix hasn't been having this most stellar season passing. He's been kind of killing it.
And let's be honest, Denver's got to be better than they were last year.
Oh, yeah. Denver behind Bo Nix, they're definitely doing much better. Like I said, he's one of the top end fantasy scorers right now. Not like top 10 or anything, but he's up there, dude.
I still wouldn't pick him to beat Kansas City, though. By the way,
it was like number 14 or something, or number 15 or some shit like that on fantasy last week when we looked him up.
Well, last year they also had Jerry Jeudy. Don't forget, he's only got Cortland Sutton this year. That's a downgrade. Jerry Jeudy is a good wide receiver. He's especially good as a wide receiver one next to Cortland Sutton. They don't got that this year.
Denver should have traded for trade deadline for a good wide receiver or something for him. Try to get a good secondary for him to throw to.
How much did you guys pay attention to the Chargers and Browns game?
Yeah, what the hell, dude?
I didn't.
I was shocked. I thought Jameis Winston, especially after you guys talking about him last week, like I thought Jameis Winston. I thought he was a lot. You guys convinced me to be a Jameis Winston believer.
You should be, but last week was a crapshoot.
Yeah,
I mean, against the Chargers are ass.
Now listen, obviously
they're not that.
I had a belief that maybe after all these years, I'm not down on them, by the way. Let me just explain real quick. After all these years that, Jameis Winston has matured and become a little bit of a smarter player. Nope, he still does dumbass shit, but when he does cool shit, it's fire. And so obviously last week he threw like a deep pass into like triple coverage. I'm like, there's Jameis Winston. He'd never left anywhere. So he's going to have those weeks where you're like, dude, what the hell? But he's also going to have those weeks where you're like, dude, what the hell? He beat a crazy team. Let's go. So I think it's just him being Jameis Winston. He is who he is. I don't think he can be a starting quarterback in the NFL, but he can be a great backup. Kind of like my
those W's up like that.
Daddy Dabs is in Cleveland territory. That should have been my first clue. He picked against him. I'm like, damn. Bro.
That's still one of my favorite gifts to use whenever I'm trying to throw up W's on somebody. Say that I won. Jameis Winston making that W and sucking his face.
Yeah. Dude, he's awesome.
Just fucking fingers throwing out that W. It's just so fucking
He's got
funny.
A great personality. He's good at hyping up the team. So I'm gonna need to see more, but right now, to me, it looks like he's still the same old Winston.
Yeah, I think he's on the teetering point right now. I think if he goes out there and has another bad game, then yep, later, dude. But he might go out there and flip that switch back off.
But it's not a fluke to beat the Ravens like that. Him just coming out there and doing that. Like, even though the Ravens could have won that and should have won that, even being close is still respectable.
Hey, maybe we should reach out to him and see if he wants to be on our podcast.
He could be
He's crazy enough. He might, dude.
That would be crazy.
Dude, he's funny as hell.
I'll start him as my number one quarterback for the rest of the season if he gets on our podcast.
I know. I already got him, bro.
Jeez. How about that? Let's see. What else did we? Of course, we already knew Washington's going to light the shit out of the Giants. So, do we have to talk about that? Washington might be one of the best teams in the NFC.
Danny Dimes is goated. No rebuttal.
I think they should put Danny Dimes back in.
I'm gonna say,
Danny Dimes, dude. No, he's not goated. But last week he had a crazy play where he rammed two defenders and got in the end zone. He's like, I have a helmet on, and runs into him, and smacks him in. And no.
He always has that look on his face.
I did that. I got the touchdown. Oh my god, I did that. Yeah.
He looks so confused. He scores the touchdown. He's all.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, Dad. That angry run. He was like, enough of this. And then, man, I can't believe he did that. Why can't he do that every week? He would look like a superstar.
if you look at him, dude, for his stats too on the game, 6 incompletions, no interceptions, and he had 54 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown, 7.7 yards average on rushing. He didn't do horrible. It's just that, you know, it was against Washington, so they still ended up losing by 5 points. But, I mean, dude, when you look at him compared to Jaden Daniels is, everybody's thinking he's one of the best in the league right now. Jaden Daniels, 15 of 22, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then Daniel Jones, 20 of 26, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns. 30 less yards, you know, same amount of touchdowns. It's not that big of a difference.
He is a good rusher. He just makes questionable decisions.
He had much better rushing yards, too. Jaden Daniels, 8 carries for 35 yards. Daniel Jones, 7 carries for 54 yards and a touchdown.
I really hope that he, like, next year they start someone else, obviously, which they're going to do. They're going to draft a quarterback. And I hope Danny Dimes goes to a different team that's better and succeeds. I would love to see an experienced quarterback prove that just switches teams and he's better, like Baker Mayfield did. Obviously, his situation is a lot different than Danny Dimes, but still, that would be awesome to see.
So where would be a good team?
That's another question. I would really have to sit and think about that.
That is a question.
No, hell no, bro. No.
He said no.
Not my team. Maybe your team, but not my team.
Hey, Danny Dimes with Bill Belichick?
God, no.
No.
That's where I can say I think I would rather have Dak Prescott, and that's saying a lot.
Wait, who said the Cowboys?
Oh,
that
was me. I jokingly said the Cowboys.
Yeah, put them on the Raiders, bro.
Put them on the Raiders. To the Titans.
Trade Derek Carr back to the Raiders again.
Titans might not be the Titans. Spot.
I think Dabs wants him. I don't know.
I think he'd be better off with Danny Dimes than fucking Will Levis. So
yeah, let Sanders learn behind Danny Dimes. It's a great idea.
So my hot take is that the Jets are going to draft Trevor Sanders. They're either gonna see how he falls or they're going to trade up to get him.
The Jets with a good quarterback are elite.
I mean, Shedur's he's a good quarterback, but
so you're saying Aaron Rodgers is no longer a good quarterback?
I don't think so. I think he's mediocre.
You know what? He's not. We talked about the difference between Brady going to Tampa and Rodgers coming to New York. It's like night and day. When Brady went down there, it was like a renaissance. And
I think if Rodgers left earlier, that would have been how like you could compare it easier. I think that he's already past his prime at this point. I think it's over.
I agree, but we talked about this when Brady did it, and then when it happened when they traded Stafford, and Stafford went to another team that was good and ready to win, and he won. When Brady went to Tampa, it was like a renaissance for that team. Everyone was on board immediately. The buy-in was top tier. He was a man of the people. He was running captain's practices. The first thing he did once he signed his contract was start calling every single player individually, either on the phone or over FaceTime, and talking to them, face-to-face, person-to-person. We hear it more on the sports feed around here just because the Jets are closer by and they're a rival. The vibes there are horrible. Even after this win, it's still not great. They're not in good shape, and Rodgers is not a leader of men like Brady was. So I don't think he's sticking around. I don't think so either.
The Jets are a way better team, I think, than what the Bucs had when Tom Brady went there. Their defense is spectacular, and their offense has so many freaking weapons. You can't ask for more.
I disagree. I think the Bucs were. I mean, the Bucs were the perfect team for him to go to.
You think it's better than Wilson and Breece Hall and all these other guys stacked?
Absolutely, they absolutely were. They may not be anymore. And they had prime Leonard Fournette. Their defense was nothing to sneeze at. Obviously, it looks different because he went to an easier division.
I don't think it was prime Leonard Fournette. He experienced a little bit of a renaissance as well. He was prime Leonard Fournette when he was trucking people over with the Jags.
Yeah, but he had his best season with Brady.
Was that his best season?
Yeah, and it was absolutely his best playoff appearance.
I think we haven't even.
I might be wrong on that. It was definitely his best playoffs, but I don't know if it was his best regular season.
It's hard to compare it because, like, obviously Tom Brady did really good, and Aaron Rodgers and the Jets have been really ass. So I feel like if you actually put in a good quarterback, that offense looks entirely different. Because I do think Garrett Wilson's elite. You saw that pass.
Listen, I'm not saying he's not, and I don't disagree with that fact that team with the right quarterback is gonna do damage. But Aaron Rodgers is the guy. But I also don't know if a rookie coming in is the guy either. Yeah, I don't think they're a quarterback away. They have a lot of work to do. And they just offloaded another weapon. They sent Mike Williams to the Steelers today.
Yeah, I mean, with their wide receiver core, I guess they don't need him, but he's still a really good backup to have.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, he was definitely a third target guy.
But he wasn't getting used like at all. So I guess if they're not going to use him, like he barely caught any balls. He was like invisible most of the time. He had like one decent game. So hopefully, and on that note too, with him getting traded to the Steelers, hopefully he does get used and he'll be a wide receiver one on some weeks. Because in practice, they were saying that Mike Williams was taking like a majority of the receptions from Garrett Wilson. Then the season started, and that didn't happen at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette had 2,000-yard seasons, both of them with the Jags, in 17 and 19. His best average rushing yard was 3.3. That was 2018 with the Jags. In 2020, when they won that Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay. Wait, did they win in 2020 or 2021? No, they won in 2020.
It was 2020.
Yeah. He averaged 3.8. He only rushed for 367 yards that year out of 97 attempts. So I definitely wouldn't call that a career year for him.
Well, it was his best playoffs by
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Postseason wise, and he actually had 300 yards during the postseason in those 4 games.
Can we just
but he only rushed for 4.7 average. Like even in the postseason, it's
I was gonna say, speaking of just like because we're talking about like the not so good players, I might I don't know. I said earlier in the season that I thought he was going to be a really good quarterback in the future, but I think Caleb Williams is kind of going down that path of he's going to end up just sucking.
I think he's a generational bust in waiting.
Yeah, I felt like he was going to start slow and then pick up, and I mean I think he's had the best completion percentage he's had all season was like 70%. Usually he's at 50-60% completion rating. He averages 200 yards a game at best. He's had, I think it's
he's going to go crazy this week. He's going to have an absolute breakout career week. So just keep that in mind.
It's still Caleb Williams. The dude's had 10 touchdowns on the season, and 4 of them were in one game. Dude, come on, dude. You can't.
Yeah, he's beating up on the Jaguars overseas.
He's 10-5, and 4 touchdowns in one game. So take away that one game, and he's over here 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Dude, he's not been good on the season. Even then, dude, how many weeks we've been playing? He's at 10 touchdowns, bro. Come on.
Yeah, actually, I think the hype was way too high.
9 touchdowns. Excuse me. He's at 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Yeah,
he hasn't thrown a touchdown in 3 weeks.
For sure.
He threw that 4 touchdown game.
Again, he's gonna ball out this week, so keep that in mind.
Real quick before we move on from last week's game, we did have the game of the week, Detroit, Green Bay. I think most of us agreed that was going to be a huge game. Two teams that have been playing extremely well. And it was kind of divided in the pick'ems. I mean, it was 6-5 6-5 Detroit over Green Bay, just barely. So we didn't have that was a tough one to pick a winner. And then Green Bay or Detroit came out and dominated.
It's so hard to pick against Detroit, dude.
Yeah,
for me, I feel like it was
a
very
team you can't pick against right now.
They have
you
like
can't be against them.
Two elite running backs, just side by side, just destroying everybody.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, I've been picking against Green Bay all freaking season, and I've been wrong. You know,
but to me,
Green Bay's nobody to overlook.
They aren't anyone to overlook, but in that match where they're Jordan Love, Jordan loves to throw interceptions, and so when you're going up against a team like Detroit, who's got the defense that Detroit has right now,
he's another one that's turning into an absolute bust.
Yeah, he really is, dude. I was speaking up Jordan Love for a while, and that dude has just gone out there and decided that the best case scenario for him is to throw a bunch of interceptions. Like maybe he's thinking if he keeps throwing the balls to other teams, they're like, "Hey, dude, actually, Jordan Love did throw us a bunch of balls before. Let's pick him up. Let's trade for him." I don't know what it's thinking, but it's
so in News League, I traded Dabs Jordan Love for Baker Mayfield, and at the time it was like that's kind of a crazy trade because Jordan Love was top five in fantasy last year, and you're right, at the time it was a crazy trade, but I think that ended up working out. He's a turnover machine, and he's been injured all season. Mm-hmm. He's definitely not at full health.
So I figured Jordan Love turning the ball over with the Detroit Lions, who just love to have the ball turned over to them, and then the Detroit Lions offense, like Janu said, they have that running back core that when they can kind of pull the Baltimore thing. And this is the same reason why Baltimore is such a hard team to play against, because unless you have a team that can go out there and throw up lots of points on offense by passing the ball quickly, then you're not going to be able to keep up with them. Baltimore and Detroit like to go out there and run that fucking clock, dude. They hit that top. They go out there, and if you turn the ball over one time, they'll go down the field and score. And then you get the offense, you turn the ball over, they're going to eat another 8 minutes off the clock while they run down the field and score on you again. And now you're down 14-0, and you might be able to score. And then they're going to eat another 8 minutes off the clock while they run down the field and score another touchdown on you. And that's the same thing Baltimore does. Baltimore will just eat up clock all day, run that fucking play clock down to like 8 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds.
Are we ready to call it right now? Baltimore
versus Detroit.
I mean, that's what I predicted last season, and it didn't work. So
yeah,
that's true.
I think it's going to be Detroit, Kansas City.
I think I said Baltimore versus Cowboys last season.
Detroit is the most scary team in the league, I think. Detroit is scary because they are the best all-rounded team. Like, going against Detroit, they can flip the script so fast on you because they can sit there and run the ball if you're going to let them do it. But then they can be extremely elite in the pass because they're super all-rounded. Kind of like the 49ers looked last year on the offense. They can do anything.
I mean, they won a game 2 weeks ago with Goff only having 100 yards.
Yeah, dude. Remember they put up it was 50-something points they put up, and Goff had 89 passes.
Yeah, they put up 42.
Still yards win by 50.
42 points before we broke.
The last weeks have just been oh my god, watching Detroit, just dude, they just look unstoppable.
And that's the thing, dude. It's their defense. When a defense can go out there and shut down an offense, and then your offense can still score reliably, dude. That's why Baltimore
risky. Go for two and shit, playing like it's a video game.
But, dude, that's why Baltimore has issues sometimes, is because their defense isn't Detroit's defense. They have a weaker defense. It's a good defense, but it is a lot weaker of a defense than Detroit. So Baltimore's defense, if you can go out there and, say, pull a Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen or something like that and just drop 50, 60-yard bombs down the field, they aren't very good at being able to cover the pass and run. So if you can go out there and score quickly on that offense, and they go out there and spend 8 minutes on the field on offense, and then you go out there and spend a minute on the field, and their offense has to go right back out there again, well, dude, they're going to end up getting tired pretty fucking quick, and they're going to start sucking. When your offense can go out there and put up 7 in 1 minute, I mean, I'm not even going to be tired in the fourth quarter.
Listen to this right here. Talk about somebody that understands the job assignment. Jared Goff, last 3 games, 145 yards, 1 TD, 109.3% quarterback rating. Titans the week before, 80% completion, only 85 yards, but he threw for 3 touchdowns and 129.9% quarterback rating. The week before that, they played the Vikings, 88% completion, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 140 quarterback rating. Like,
out of a possible 158.3.
It's like,
that's almost a perfect rating.
That guy he goes out there and does exactly what he's told to do. It doesn't matter the game script. He doesn't try to be a hero. He just goes out there and wins fucking games.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Super scary.
It's crazy.
I mean, like, Gibbs alone, like, by himself, even if they just had Gibbs and ran Reynolds or whoever behind him, Gibbs is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Gibbs is like I think he is the best running back in the league right now. I think he's the best year 2 running back. He is, I mean, like, obviously Montgomery has kept it up, but he's getting older. He doesn't have to take that lead spot. So both of them is insane, but even just him alone.
The only person I would put above Gibbs right now, and I hate saying this because he's in the chat, so I know he's going to hear me say it, it would be Bijan Robinson. I think Robinson is having himself a fucking killer year also. And like with Tyler Algier at Robinson's back, he's always got that worry that anytime he goes to the sideline to take a breather, his backup is going to rush for 20 yards. Or his backup's going to break a 30-yard rush for a touchdown. Because Algier ain't no joke. That dude could be a starter on any fucking team. And so Bijan Robinson, his first year,
Bijan.
I always call him Bijan. I don't know. Screw off. Bijan Robinson. That dude, his first year, he sucked. Second year, dude, he's been kind of killing it. Yeah, that's the only reason I brought up. Second year running back.
Still a round 1 pick this year when we were picking him. He still goes round 1.
Yeah, Bijan was kind of. I think I compared him to Saquon once before. Saquon was super hyped the same way. That first year, he didn't exactly fit. They weren't leaning on him like the people expected him to. Atlanta did the same thing. You know, he was super hyped up from the outside. Inside, they didn't really use him super heavy like a lot of people. A lot of people when he was drafted, everybody expected him to be this workhorse back that would lead their offense. And I don't think New York did that with Saquon. I don't think that Atlanta did that with Bijan.
I think they finally clicked knowing that they can have a committee in the backfield, but that he needs to catch balls. That's where they are really clicking with him now. Every single game, dude, he can catch 6-7 times, 50 yards receiving and shit like that. Every single game. That dude is getting great numbers receiving this year. And in our league, it's even higher for points per reception for the running back. He'll go out there and get 60-yard rushing. That's cool. But then you throw in 5-6 catches for another 40-50 yards. That's like an extra 10 points.
Justin. No, Dallas Cowboys for life. Yes.
Cowboys for life. Hell yeah, dude.
However, I did write that on the top of my bag.
Right.
You should have put Fire Jerry at the top of it. That's my new team name.
Flip it around, and the other side says Fire Jerry.
Yeah, hashtag Fire Jerry.
I really hope that it's getting closer and closer to being true, man. I don't even like to do that much, but I think even Stephen Jones would be better right now as a GM than Jerry would. Jerry's at that point now where I think for many years now, people have been complaining that Jerry Jones he tries to dip his toe in every single aspect. He wants to be our head coach and our GM and our owner and our quarterback coach and our media's manager. He wants to be everything. And you just can't.
He wants to suck at everything.
Yeah, you just can't, dude. And after so many years, like, we can't do it anymore. We need other people to take this shit over.
I don't want to get too much deeper into the Cowboys because we've been talking about them a lot, but I do think that Jerry is the problem. I have suspected that for a while now, obviously, but
picks our draft, does the cuts on players. He has final say over everything.
More and more, I think that he genuinely, somewhere hidden down below, he cares more about dollars and cents and in the ratings than he does the Super Bowl. I mean, thought
that's every owner.
No, I thought for sure for a while that Jerry was going to, especially the way he was trending over the last like 3 years, relinquishing control to Stephen Jones and hiring a coach like Mike McCarthy, who's a little bit higher profile. I thought for sure that Jerry was in that, I'm an old man, I'm in desperation mode, I want to see another Super Bowl for my team before I die. I don't think that anymore. I don't think he cares. If he doesn't see another one before he dies, as long as he dies with the Cowboys being the most valuable sports franchise in the world and the highest rated sports program on Sundays, I think Jerry's happy. And that's fucking bullshit. But I believe it now.
The NFL over the last decade or something like that, they call it, I mean, think about what they call it on television. It is a sports entertainment business. This isn't a sports industry. This is a sports entertainment business. And when you get down to it, and the entertainment business, win. Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying. When you get down to the entertainment business aspect of it, though, that's where the owners come in. That's where the commercials come in, and the ads come in, and all the other shit. Like, that's what matters, dude. It's an entertainment business, and an entertainment business needs to make money. So whatever they can do to make more money, that's what they care about, dude. And it sucks. And not to put the tinfoil hat on my head, but I see a reference to this so many times, right? Okay, so like think about like this. So say like in the 70s, the 80s, you know, shit like that, wrestling. People legitimately thought that stuff was real back then, because before the day and age of the internet and all the smartphones and being able to see replays 100 times and watch things, it kind of looked real. When you went and watched it in person, it kind of looked real. You saw the anger and the fighting and people getting thrown into a table, and people believed it until you realized one day finally, like, oh, it's kind of bullshit. And I see that reference a lot now with the NFL, where the NFL for how many decades now, everybody's just believed it. And it's kind of getting to that point now where, are we in 5 or 10 years going to look back on the NFL and be like, man, can y'all remember when we actually believed that shit wasn't scripted? Remember back when we thought the NFL was real? Dude, we were so naive back in 2024. It was nuts. Dude, it's like a drama now, dude. It's like watching a soap opera.
For the record, I don't think it's scripted. Like, I don't think they write it down on a paper and like, oh, this is what's going to happen in every game. But I do think the league influences games. Mm-hmm. I really do.
It's like watching a soap opera, dude, where you have to have certain things happen, or they'll make it happen.
I've largely been a proponent against saying how much the NFL controls wins, losses, that kind of stuff. But at the same, in a lot of that, I've always said in the past, okay, well, Jerry Jones is one of the most influential owners in the NFL, so why haven't we won in 28 years? Well, now I'm starting to think, well, because we don't have to. We're already the most popular franchise in the world. We don't have to win.
We're literally the most profitable franchise in the world.
It's actually more money for the league for a lower franchise to win, because they can bring in all these dollars for teams that normally don't bring in a lot of dollars.
I mean, who's going to make the NFL more money? Say the Detroit Lions winning, which they're a good team. They deserve it. But who's going to bring in more money? If the Detroit Lions win the Super Bowl this year, or if the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl this year? The Dallas Cowboy fans are already there. Those stadiums are already packed. Everybody already buys those jerseys. But the Detroit Lions, imagine if they won a Super Bowl. How much more could those ticket prices raise up? How much more money could they make off TV advertisements? How much more could they rise up jersey prices? How much more money could they make?
Like, yeah. Miss Queen,
a playoff
it won't happen.
Is,
it won't
it makes a lot of money.
Your question, because they
even
just
the
paid Dak.
Yep.
They just paid Dak way too much money. Rush will only be the starter while Dak is hurt.
Yeah. We're at the situation with Dak right now that we were at with Zeke before we got rid of him, where we're paying Dak too much money to admit to the NFL that he's our backup, even if we want him to. Even if he comes back and we decide Cooper Rush is killing it, the dude's won every single game. He's 15 touchdowns, no interceptions, 300 yards a game, back on the bench. It's Dak. He's our starter.
A guy that's getting paid that much money does not lose his job to injury.
No NFL team could say we're paying this dude $400 million to sit on the bench.
And for the record, I don't think Dak is a backup. I mean,
no,
he's a starter.
$40 million. I said $400 million. $40 million.
And this is Cowboy hater number one. Like Dak is he's fine. Like I don't think he's Super Bowl caliber, but he's a starting quarterback in any team in the league. He's not a backup. So Cooper Rush, he's good.
Whether he's having a bad year or not,
which he is,
he's a starter.
Yeah, but Patrick Mahomes is having a bad year too.
Exactly.
But he's
if Patrick Mahomes it's the same thing though. If Patrick Mahomes gets injured and he's out for 5 games and the backup kills it that entire time, you're not going to go, all right, well, Patrick, sit on the bench. The backup's doing good.
Right.
Nope. Sorry, backup. Back on the bench.
Right.
Patrick's back. It's the same thing.
And we're not trying to compare Dak to Patrick Mahomes as far as elitism and all that other stuff. But when you have franchise quarterbacks and you have other guys. Cooper Rush is other guys. Dak is a franchise quarterback. Regardless of what level or what rank you put him in, he's still a franchise quarterback.
Think about it like this too, man. Perfect example. In the Eagles, they did the same thing. They had Nick Foles. Nick Foles was their starting quarterback. They had paid him the money. They gave him all this shit, and then he got injured. Carson Wentz came in there, killed it. He took them to the Super Bowl. He got them into the playoffs. Carson Wentz carried that team throughout all of it. And then Nick Foles, right before the Super Bowl, was like, "Hey, I'm healthy." And the Eagles said, "Okay, well, sorry, Carson, but you're on the bench. Nick Foles is going to be the starter." And Nick Foles came in and started. He got MVP. Shit, it worked. But it's the same situation. It doesn't matter if it's the Super Bowl or if it's halfway through the season.
I remember watching
when your starter is healthy. You put him in.
Carson Wentz was the stud that year, and he got hurt, and Nick Foles took over for him.
No, it was flipped. Carson Wentz was the one Nick Foles was the starter who came back in for the MVP in the Super Bowl. Carson Wentz he played the season. Carson Wentz was a stud that season. He killed it. He took him to the Super Bowl. But yeah, Nick Foles right before the Super Bowl was like, "Well, I'm healthy," and came back. And that's why it was such a big controversy, because they were like, it worked. But imagine if it didn't. Imagine if you benched Wentz for Foles for the Super Bowl and they fucking lost when Wentz got him there. Like, and it was a slap in Wentz's face. But that's just the point is that it doesn't matter if it's the Super Bowl or any other time. When your starter's healthy, you put him back in. You don't put your backup in. He's your starter for a reason. So even if, like, say Cooper Rush comes in here and takes us to the playoffs, the first week of the playoffs, if Dak's healthy, he's starting. We're putting him in. I
mean, I can't really think of another example of a starting quarterback that gets injured and loses their job to the backup. The only one I can think of is Drew Bledsoe to Tom Brady.
Tony Romo.
Tony Romo
got injured. Dak Prescott
Tony Romo lost his job to Dak Prescott.
I only know that
retired
I love Tony Romo so fucking much, and I hated to see that. But yeah, it is very rare, very, very rare to happen. 1 or 2 times over the last decade it's happened. But
yeah, it doesn't happen very often. It really doesn't.
And with Tony Romo, the only reason that even happened is because he was a bit older, and he was just like, "Yeah, I agree. Dak's killing it. I'm going to go ahead and take a backseat to him."
Yeah, he was starting to be pretty damn injury prone. Yeah. So,
but anyway, yeah,
Yeah, that was the whole. He was eventually already set up to replace him anyway. It was no secret, you know. It was always going to be that way. It just happened a little bit sooner than most people predicted. I think that's it for last week's games. We did have we did have a little bit of fantasy football shakeup. I got knocked out of first place. Damn it.
Doesn't say finally 9 weeks into the season. You see that number next to my name? You see that number next to my name?
No longer in last
12.
place.
It is no longer 12.
Yeah. That's a 3-game win streak for you.
Yes, it is. And guess
3 week.
Knock on wood. Guess who should be back this week?
CMC.
Christian
Yeah,
McCaffrey.
I have him in another league. I'm hopeful.
Yep.
I have him in another league as well. So, but that league I'm already done for the year. So I don't care.
I love him, dude. He literally won the championship last year, and now Holmes in 12th. Dark went from worst to first. You're gonna get coded. You shut that mouth of yours, Lobster. You shut that mouth. Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
Now he's gonna get COVID. We had the blowout of the week. That's what she said over I Smell Beef, aka Janu. I don't know about the name, but
yeah, low effort name.
Yeah, do better.
Do better next time, bro. And then we had a new biggest loser. Lobster. Binge.
Welcome to the bigs, kid.
Just speaking of her too, I usually don't root for other teams, but as of the fact that I've won my last 3 games and I kind of have one of those 1% playoff chances right now, anybody who's playing against anybody in my division, I'm going to be rooting for. So Lobster, kick Daddy Dabs' ass this weekend, please. I need him to lose.
Listen,
and
I'm sorry, but I need
beat Wakko's ass also.
I need Lobster to start losing because my league, my division is fucked right now. Like I gotta catch up to my 2 boys, but like Lobster's in here just
she's leading your division at 6-3, right?
Team, and all of a sudden she's she's the top of the league and the top of the division. Like it's crazy.
Fantasy football's great though, and we had that's what she said. Get to rename Lobster. You can look forward to seeing that on the score sheet next week, or join the Discord. Of course, obviously you can keep up with all of this in the Discord. We also had a primetime parlay this week, which was not quite as good as we've been doing.
Kyle Pitts, dude. Screw you, dude. He was like, out of like the last 5 out of his last 6 games, he had 1 game under 30 yards. Every other game was like 60 yards plus. And it's the Cowboys defense. The dude gets like 20 yards receiving or some shit. What are you doing, dude? Are you kidding me? Come on.
I lucked out with Downs, man. That came in at the very end of the game this week.
Dab's lying ass.
First off, I said change mine to Myles Garrett. What, you were Young Ho Ko or Koo, or how do you say that?
Young Ho Koo.
Young Ho Koo.
That Young Ho is pretty cool.
The real way you pronounce it's Young Wei Koo, but you know it says Ho.
Listen, look, I don't know about anything Janu just said. All I know is that Young Ho is pretty cool.
Yo, he popped his in at practice. He's pretty cool to me. I saw Baker popping one mid-game too.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 of them. I don't know. It was a pretty big one.
Got to be more clear next time. Dabs.
It's that Giants and Carolina game starting at 8:30 in the morning. Not going to wake up that early to watch that crapshoot game.
No.
Dude, you're not going to set your alarm to wake up and watch that Gem of a Rock Fest game.
I'll look at the highlights.
Bryce Young versus Danny Dimes. Gotta see it.
Are we talking about next week already? Here's Week 10's lineup.
I'm gonna
awesome Thursday night game. I'm actually really excited for this game.
Dude, the Cincinnati versus Baltimore game. That's gonna be a great game.
It's gonna be tough to pick that one.
Baltimore's gonna win. But,
Baltimore, yeah, I think Baltimore's gonna win.
But it's not gonna be an easy win.
Look, Thursday games suck. When it's a close matchup, when it's two teams that you kind of in your head, you know they're good. It's tough to pick a winner. I don't care which one you think is the favorite, because Thursday games suck. I don't know how many. Look, I won't be touching this with a 10-foot pole on any bet anywhere.
Well, I mean, we're touching it on our parlay, so keep that in mind.
Dabs. I was thinking
we are.
Yeah.
This is going to be the first week that King Henry.
It hasn't missed all season. It has not missed all season.
This is going to be the week. This is going to be the week.
It's like Kansas City. It's got to lose at some point. Who knows what week it'll be?
If my leg misses this week, I will PayPal you the $10 to cover next week.
All right.
He's that confident. All right, hell yeah.
Somebody clip it.
Clip it.
Clip it. Put it in the chat.
Oh, okay, so my thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry, death taxes and Derrick Henry. He's inevitable.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Like, yeah.
I love it.
So I think for this.
You're lucky that we can't bet first touchdowns, because I'd be betting that too.
Dude, I wish Prize Picks would actually allow first touchdowns.
And then we got the Giants versus Carolina. So we got the Arkansas School of the Blind versus the Illinois School of the Deaf. It's like, what? That one's pretty tough to pick, I think.
That actually is tough because I don't know who's going to suck more.
Exactly. We went from a great matchup to what the hell is
Giants, take that easy. You guys are sleeping on Dimes, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I'm sleeping on them, dude.
What?
You guys are sleeping. Come on, Bryce. The freaking Panthers, dude. Come on. It's Danny Dimes.
Panthers just won last week.
I don't give a crap, dude. It's freaking Danny Dimes. This is the Panthers we're talking about here. They're booty cheeks.
You can't just say the name Danny Dimes, though, and it instantly means that
I can say something by it. It's the Dimes himself.
But his nickname is Danny Dimes.
Come on,
Put the Italian back in.
Think
Put the
about
Italian back in. And they win every game. They win out. Put Tommy Cutlass back in.
Oh, my God.
That game's going to be awful, and you know it.
Now, the Giants are going to win by a lot. They're going to win by at least 2 TDs.
Side bet.
I'll be surprised if they score 2 touchdowns. Let's be honest.
I'll take that action.
Get that Seattle game. Y'all are acting like that game never happened.
Yeah. So that right there screams Janu just put 10 on it. That taking the over on the Giants at a 1.5 on touchdowns. I'll put 5 on that against it.
I put 5.
It for real.
I'll put 5 against that. I'll take him on the under on 1.5 touchdowns.
Gee, out of any touchdown, rush, receiving, anything, bro. Yeah.
I mean, if they're gonna, I think they'll score 2 touchdowns. But
I'll say Danny Dimes. Yeah, Danny Dimes ain't gonna score 2 touchdowns.
Even if he does, they're not going to win by 2.
They're not. If you're betting them at 13.5, they're not covering that. Sorry.
Oh, you're talking about an overall point spread. Oh, hell
spread,
no.
Yeah, if we're betting the spread.
They definitely take it 14 on the spread. I would say best case scenario, if they do win on the spread, I would take him at like 2.5, 3.5 maybe.
Now the question is,
I'll take the Giants to cover the spread, but if it's 13.5, I'm not taking that. I'll take Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
But either way, it's a dog shit game.
Yeah, pretty much.
New England, Chicago. You got any thoughts on that one, Ray?
Yeah, freaking Caleb Williams is gonna ball out. He's gonna have a career game. He's gonna look like the first First overall draft pick, you should have been.
Defense is going to lock down Patriots.
Clip it.
He's going to throw for 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's going to rush for 150 yards.
You sound like me talking about the Cowboys, dude.
He's going to ball the fuck out. He's going to beat up on the Patriots, and we're going to continue our trek towards pick number 1. Baby.
The Pats only got to win like one more game to have the same record as us at this point.
I think the game's gonna end up finishing like 9-5 or some shit like that. They're like a safety on Chicago or some weird shit.
What happened to New England at least having a good defense?
They left.
We already figured out that was Cap a long time ago.
Well, injuries.
They left with Tom Brady.
I mean, they traded Matthew Judon. They lost Bentley for the season. Christian Barmore, who was a high draft pick, he's still out with blood clots. They traded Josh Uche, who is okay. He wasn't great. They do have Christian Gonzalez. He's a lockdown cornerback, and he's crazy good. But everything else is kind of mid. They're a little banged up.
I'm gonna say, as far as this week, my little hot take on games, I think I'm gonna take Denver over Kansas City on the pick 'em. I'm gonna take it. I'm taking Tampa Bay over San Francisco.
I'm taking that one.
I'm gonna take Pittsburgh over Washington to win that.
I'm not taking that one.
I'm gonna take Dallas over Philly. I'm definitely taking that. And the last crazy one, I'm doing a lot of crazy ones this week. I see this last one happening. Every team has to fall, and I see this happening also. Nico Collins is coming back. I think Houston's gonna take Detroit. I think Houston's taking Detroit.
Yes.
All right. One more right.
Yeah. I love it.
You do. Hang on.
No.
You do realize
shut your mouth.
At the end,
let me have this.
At the end of the row here is the podcast stats.
I was just about to say that.
58.7% on the season.
I have to get a little bit more creative with my picks this week because I'm starting to fall behind.
Of all of us.
I have to get a little more creative. Fuck off. I'm falling behind. I need to make some picks, okay?
If the Texans beat the Lions, that's generational.
Is this why you're here?
I've only had a couple crazy picks.
We're gamblers, okay?
Las Vegas, exactly. Exactly. Hey, man, I'm telling you, you think Houston ain't going to come out there and upset some people? All right, you think Pittsburgh ain't going to come out there and upset Washington now that they got a new wide receiver to throw to? Yeah, I see some crazy shit happening this week. The NFL, it's that week in the soap opera where the scripts got to get flipped. I think that's going to be this week.
Look, I still
you know what? Buffalo's losing.
You know what? Hey, at this point, you might as well just bet the opposite of what you think is going to happen. You might do
Jacksonville's beating Minnesota, guaranteed.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind.
Trevor Lawrence is taking that nose of his, and he's taking him straight to the victory line.
Hell yeah.
Jeez. Wow. Well, that's the pick'ems, ladies and gentlemen. Jeez. So do what you want.
Do anything this week. That's our advice. Just do anything.
It's that type of week, man.
Pick
it's
with a
point.
generator.
So should I put the bag back on my head? Or?
You're gonna have to keep that on there for the rest of the season.
Bro, y'all really wanted me to get crazy. I could say Cincinnati's going to beat Baltimore.
I don't feel like that one's that crazy because they're.
I don't either. I
think it is, dude. I think Cincinnati's the type of team that's built to beat Baltimore, but won't. They have the perfect.
That didn't even make sense.
Baltimore. Well, they have the perfect team to beat Baltimore, dude. They got the wide receiving core, and they got Joe Burrow, who can throw massive bombs. He can toss it all day. They're a great passing offense, but they're not going to do it. They're not going to be able to pass, dude. They're going to fall apart like they usually do. They crumble in those type of situations when it actually matters, and I think they're going to go up against Baltimore, and they're going to suck. They might not. You never know. But like I said, I think they're built to beat Baltimore, and like the Cowboys last year, we were built to beat Green Bay in the playoffs, and we didn't. And I think that's like Cincinnati right now. Not necessarily to that extent. I think Cincinnati has the type of offense that's, like I said earlier, built to beat Baltimore. They had the potential to go out there and in one play get a 60-yard touchdown.
Burrow threw 5 touchdowns last week, and not one of them was to Jamar Chase. That was so fun.
That's what I'm saying, dude. They have
that.
So
fun. Yeah, the Jamar Chase on our
Jamar Chase manager. I loved watching that. That was so fun.
That's what I'm saying. Like they have that offense, man. They can pass it all day on defenses, and that's what beats Baltimore. I just don't think they're going to do it against them this week.
We've talked about a lot of things. We've never even we didn't even mention Kelce's phone crushing incident. Are we done for the night, ladies and gentlemen? We got last.
We need to run a parlay, buddy.
What are we gonna do?
Looking at right now.
Let's go.
What are we gonna do this week for the primetime parlay?
I said before, guys, so I'll throw mine out first in case y'all are still. I mean, actually, we all know Ray's was it death taxes and Derrick Henry over on the touchdown, so we know he's taking that.
He's cheating.
Cooper Rush. I said I want to take Cooper Rush over on passing yards, as long as, because the stats aren't up yet, as long as it's not like some crazy shit where they have Cooper Rush at like 260 over under or something. I don't think he's gonna do that good. But if they have
type
him at
it
like
in the chat, Dabs.
If they have like a normal backup stat for him, like 180, 190, hell, even 200, I think he'll throw for more than 200 yards. But if they have him at some crazy stat, then I want to take my old classic, death, taxes, and Brandon Aubrey over 1.5 on field goals.
Okay, all right. Cooper Rush pass yards. It has a good potential to. In fact, let's see. Let's look right now.
If he's up yet, awesome. I didn't see him on the. They didn't have his stats.
Yeah,
up
he's
yet.
not up. He's not up.
It shouldn't be crazy. It should. They'll probably have him like 190, 195, something like that for passing yards. And as long as it's under 200, then I'll take him over.
Dabs is saying Gibbs anytime TD. Easy. Ray or Janu?
Derrick Henry anytime touchdown. And I have actual money. If this parlay, if this leg misses, I will send you $10, so you guys can run the rest of the parlay again for the rest of the week.
$10 bonus.
You want
love a protected bet? You got to take the
guaranteed pick or the TD pick.
I mean, isn't this a free pick? So,
what did you say, Janu?
I said you want the guaranteed pick, or are we taking risky picks?
I think at this point we need to take some guaranteed picks. We've only cashed in 2 weeks this year, so
I thought it was 3. Was it only 2?
It's only 2 so far.
Because didn't we technically hit last week whenever they refunded the running back?
That was the second.
That was the second, really?
Yeah.
Hey, dude, I've been smoking too much.
Well, you say that all the time.
I know, it's because it's true.
All right.
Then I'm taking Austin Seibert over on kicking points.
Again?
Yes, dude.
Right back.
He's goated. He's like as goated as taking the Derrick Henry touchdown every week. He gets it every week. I don't think there's been a single week this season he hasn't hit it. He's one of the best fantasy kickers. He's like Brandon Aubrey, bruh.
Oh, my goodness.
Seriously, dude. I almost want to take, if Underdog put him out there, the Brandon Aubrey combo kicker for the longest kick in the game. He's always at like 47, 48. Homeboy kicks 50-yard field goals in his sleep. Like, There's the one bright spot about the Dallas Cowboys offense, man, when we're out there and our offense sucks it up. And the announcer's always like, well, the one good part about that is that all you have to do is be at the 50-yard line and you're already within range of Brandon Aubrey to kick a field goal. It's kind of crazy, dude. You don't even have to be on the other team's side and you can kick field goals. And he is like a 65-yarder or some shit, 67.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and go with Pickens on receiving yards for Pittsburgh. He's only at 66 and a half. I think Pittsburgh is going to have to chunk the ball to keep up with Washington. So even though Washington's defense is absolute G, I think the amount of times that Russell Wilson's going to have to get the ball in the air is going to benefit Pickens. So I'm taking reception yards, Pickens.
Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah, that's true. It's not going to be up to speed with the scheme and playing this game necessarily. But
and Pittsburgh just got their new wide receiver too.
We didn't even talk about trades and injuries.
The injury report.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if we want to, because Dabs did send the injury report, it only takes a minute if we want to run through the injury report. Before
real quick. Let's run through that real fast.
Yeah, because it's not even that big. Where we got Dak Prescott, right hamstring strain, out multiple weeks, could land on IR, and they're talking in Cowboys country like it could be season ending, is kind of what they're making it sound like. Caleb Williams, minor ankle injury, likely to play week 10. CeeDee Lamb, right shoulder AC joint sprain, questionable for next week. Drake London, he's out here with a right hip pointer and oblique strain week to week. AJ Brown, left knee injury, diagnosed. Yep, day to day. Janu was laughing about that, dude. That picture you posted. That was about Cooper Cup or Puka Nacua. That was so funny.
I put under that. I was like, and AJ Brown too.
AJ Brown too, yeah. The Puka Nacua thing was hilarious. After people didn't start him, and then he punched somebody and got ejected, which we didn't even talk about Puka getting ejected either. But anyway. Keon Coleman, wrist injury, diagnosis unknown, situation to monitor. Chris Olave, which, speaking of this too, real fast after the injury report, I want to say something. Chris Olave, concussion protocol, likely to land on IR. Darius Slayton, concussion week to week. And then Eric All Jr., torn ACL, out for the year.
That's tough because he was becoming a pretty consistent target.
Oh, yeah. So I know we joke a lot about the Tua concussions turning his brain to mush and all that shit. So Arrow Dark pointed something out to me actually when me and him were chatting on Discord. Apparently, Chris Olave's career, his young career, he's already had 5 concussions, and this is his second concussion on the season. Chris Olave doesn't get brought up as much as Tua does, and we apparently need to. Chris Olave apparently is starting to turn into a Tua and getting his brain turned into mush with all these concussions that he's getting over his career. And,
he's a wide receiver, though. They're replaceable.
He's like, they're replaceable.
Why are we talking about Olave?
Who gives a shit about him? But no, man, like, I think that's kind of one of those situations that we should monitor going forward with. When he comes back, what happens if he goes out with another concussion? That'd be his 6th concussion. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. This is already his 5th concussion, 2nd this season. Like, dude, he's turning himself into a wide receiver version of Tua.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. What else?
I mean, if y'all wanted to say it real fast at the end, because I thought it was kind of crazy, the Puka ejection. He definitely deserved to get ejected. How stupid was it? Like, dude, the one thing you don't do, they teach you that shit in peewee football, in middle school football. They teach you if you're going to hit somebody, you never close your fist, ever. You don't punch anybody. Instant ejection. Puka punches the dude straight up in the helmet. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. If you would have slapped him in the helmet or pushed him, it would have just been a big penalty. But you punched him in the helmet. You closed your fist. Bye-bye.
How dumb is it to punch a helmet anyway?
Exactly.
Like, is that not the dumbest thing to be getting ejected for? Like, why? What, you understand what these helmets are designed to protect against?
It's like,
designed.
Why are you punching it?
And it's like, I get being frustrated. I get that because in his mind, the play was over. It was, and he's just kind of getting held up by this guy for no reason. He's just grabbing on him and pushing on him for no reason. I get you're frustrated. You're trying to get him off. You're pushing him. You're angry. What? Why would you punch him? You punch him in the fucking helmet? What are you doing, dude? Like, you just came back from injury. You're at one catch on the day.
Like, slap him in the nuts or something.
Right? Push the dude. Push him in to grab his face mask or something and pull it. Do something. Get a penalty. Punch the dude. Get ejected. Yeah.
I just remembered we did have the Monday Night Football squares this week.
Good amount of them.
Yeah, people came in hot at the last minute, and we filled up a lot of squares with some generosity. And we had some winners. Homeboy that filled up most of the squares won a couple. Superhero Gamers won one. We had some lucky ones for me hit on blanks. But and we got the new board up for the next game. Rams, Dolphins. It's live now. 100 bits per square. Jump on it and win some V-Bucks if you care to. And then I think that's all we got for tonight, fellas. Extra point time. Kick it. Who's kicking first?
I was gonna say my extra point would be. I think I might have said this, but I'm just gonna reiterate it one more time because I'm at that point. It was another thing me and Aerodark were talking about. Never back down. Never what?
Give it up.
Yeah. And so right now, dude,
Nick 830.
My fantasy football season was in the pits. I was 0-6. And I'm not saying I know I'm still at like a 1-2% chance, but it ain't over. It ain't the fat lady is not sung yet. Never give up, guys. And I was to that point where I was like, you know, if I lose one more time, my season's over. And I still honestly think if I get another loss, my season's probably over. But I was at 0-6, and with no Christian McCaffrey for 3 more weeks, I've gotten 3 wins, and now, knock on wood, a full, healthy core starting team. My 3 starters are Justin Jefferson, Christian McCaffrey, and Lamar Jackson. And as of right now, barring any unforeseen Taylor Luck injuries, the 3 of them are finally healthy. And if the 3 of them can stay healthy, that's damn near 100 points a week between the 3 of them. Like, so as long as they stay healthy, and if it's, I am in the toughest division. That's what I said. But if I win out the season, then every person in my division is guaranteed at least 1 more loss. So if they lose, that's why I said I need some other people to still work some magic. It's still a low percent chance, but I'm not giving up. If Nick can beat Dabs this week, if Wakko can catch a loss, if people can catch a couple losses, and I can win out the season, I mean, it's not over. It's not over. The fat lady is not sung yet. She's getting close. She's drunk in tea. So she's on stage.
Move on.
My extra point is because, again, it was something I talked about in the Discord with somebody. It's don't sell your team too early. The fantasy football season's long, man. Until you at that point when you know for a fact there is a 0% chance that you're going to make it to the playoffs. Exactly, I'm a Taylor. Then don't sell too early, dude. Because like I'd got some offers from some people for draft picks and things like that to give away some of my better players. Yeah. If I had done that, I wouldn't have been winning these games that I'm winning right now.
Hey, that's true. No cap.
But I took it, man. I'm just saying.
And I still probably won't make it. But you never know, man. I mean, I lost 6 games in a row. Let's just say Wakko can't lose 6 games in a row. Anyway,
why does it got to be on me, bro?
Because you're in my division.
Gentlemen,
never give up.
Extra point.
I got nothing tonight.
My extra point is sell your team early. Take your draft picks when you should. If you lose 6 in a row, it's probably over for you. And at that point, you could build the best team next year. An amazing team, actually.
I feel like he said the exact same thing after the last time I said this.
You could build an amazing team with round 1, round 3 draft picks and a couple of young guys. That's my extra point. And, go Texans, because the Cowboys are over, so it's just Texans from here for me.
My extra point, we fucking suck.
Okay, Dak.
The Cowboys are ass.
Okay, Dak.
Officially.
Yep. We're ass.
I'm glad we didn't talk about that, by the way. Dak Prescott. We're ass on the sideline. We're so ass. We paid that dude how much money to sit on the sideline and say that our team is ass?
I mean, we them boys. I don't know what to say anymore. Like, it's I'm having trouble processing everything that's going on, honestly. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Well, boys,
right.
I think that's a wrap. You want to find somebody to raid into and close it all out tonight? Go watch the election results.
Right. Politics.
Let's go with
we spoke about him tonight. Old Duder's online.
Hey, let's hit up Duder. I think I'm not in the right. There we go. Duder GG, right?
Typed it in chat.
There it is. Let's go say hi to Duder. Let him know that his old Broncos are doing all right. Or talk shit and tell him that he's full of shit and they're going to lose.
That I'm picking him to win against KC.
He's picking him to win against KC. He said either KC or Baltimore.
Yeah.
And they lost to Baltimore, so it's got to be KC now. Yeah, let's go. I'm hitting start raid now.
All right, I'm ready now.
And I appreciate everybody that's been in here tonight and all the YouTube views from here on out. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you soon.